Aaron, what is it about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg's story as a writer that you found interesting?
You know, it wasn't Facebook that drew me to the story. You don't have to be on Facebook to like this. This is a classical story, as old as storytelling itself, of friendship and betrayal and jealousy and power.
So it didn't hurt that, Facebook has 500 million users, so you got an audience.
But people who aren't part of that 500 million, like me, will get just as much enjoyment out of the movie as the person sitting next to them who's on Facebook 10 times a day.
When any two girls are matched up, there's an expectation of which will win based on their current rating, right?
Yeah. And those expectations are expressed this way.
Are there any particular parts of it that you enjoyed writing or researching? Any anecdotes from that?
I loved the whole thing. Researching it, writing it was a lot of fun, but the most fun was, I like team sports more than solo sports and bands more than solo acts. The best part for me was getting to work with David Fincher and the cast and the crew and actually making it. The thing about this story is that there were two separate lawsuits brought against Facebook at roughly the same time. And the defendant, the plaintiffs, the witnesses, they all went into a deposition room. They all swore out an oath under threat of perjury, and they came out telling three very different versions of the same story. So instead of pick one and decide that was the truth, I'll tell that story, or pick one and decide that's the sexiest, I'll tell that story, I like the idea that there were three stories. And so I went for a Rashomon quality. Everybody sort of gets their story told. The movie doesn't take a position on who's right and who's wrong and who's good and who's bad, but nothing was injected into the movie to sensationalize it or Hollywoodize it.
I believe I deserve some recognition from this board.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Mark Zuckerberg's character is pretty complicated in the movie. It's pretty complicated. Any part of you that you could relate to Zuckerberg's character?
Definitely. He's a guy who's shy, who feels awkward in public. He's kind of got his nose pressed up against the glass of social life at college. He's not being invited to the cool kids table. He's lonely. All of us have felt like
You weren't at the cool kids table?
I was a drama club geek. I wasn't at the cool kids table, but we've all felt lonely in our lives, and there have been plenty of times that the world has reflected back at us that we're not part of them, that we're on the outside.
What do you want the audience to take away when they go away from watching this movie?
I would rather my voice not be in their head when they go in to see the movie. If they felt like it was 2 hours well spent, I'll be happy.